What's up, guys? How are you? I'm back here on YouTube doing some late night coding on my game engine. I haven't done this for a while, but I figured that today would be a good day to do some live streaming on my game engine and show you the latest updates that I have been working on my game engine. I have been working quite hard on the game engine. I uh, basically removed a lot of code duplication that was going on in my game engine. So I started using some C++ templates on some parts of the game engine that I was having code duplication. So that is fixed. Then what else did I do? I also started embedding MGUI and also implementing a scripting language called the Gravity, and that's what I actually want to share with you guys. But before I do that, let me actually bring up the chat because I forgot to actually pop it out. All right, so here it is. Boom, got it. All right, guys. So let me show you what I have been working on lately. I'm gonna run the game engine. This new version 16 beta version 60.0 is completely has a lot of improvements. It's looking a lot different than the previous versions. Mainly because I added the editor in GUI, and also I currently am integrating this Gravity scripting language, which is quite cool. I really like it a lot. Actually, I'm going to show you the Gravity file. If you are interested in knowing more about it, I strongly recommend you to check it out. It's a really nice language. Let me go to introduction. If you just search for Gravity scripting language, you'll find it. It's very simple to use, and more importantly, for us, for game engine developers, it is very simple to integrate in your game engine. Um, you know, uh, it is a fairly new language. So there's some documentation that is missing. But the good thing is that the author, he has created like some examples that you can just download, and he is very, like he responds right away whenever you have any questions on the language. He has been helping me quite a lot to integrate this language. So it's been quite cool. So now let me go to main because I didn't show. I was not sharing my screen. But again, let me bring up the Gravity language. So if you want to go check it out, you can go just search out Gravity a scripting language, and it should take you to this page. Again, it is very simple to use. If you have used a Swift before in the past, you should be able to to use this right away. Embedding it is super simple. Literally very simple to embed. It's not as convoluted as Lua. That was actually my first like I started like trying to use Lua and do the whole binding with C++. But honestly, guys, that was a complete mess, and I got tired of so many. I don't know. I just didn't want to work with it anymore. So I decided to give this language a chance, and it turns out that I quite like it. It's very simple, guys. Super simple to use. So let me show you what I have here, right? Again, I added an editor. So I'm gonna load up the script. Let me just go to the script. I'm gonna load it, and I'm gonna play it. And now what's gonna happen is that according to the script, I'm gonna show basically, let me remove that one. I'm gonna basically show to a player and soccer field. All right, so let me load this up because I saved it. And if I play this again, boom, you see the player here. Now, obviously, here what I in the script, I actually have the whole player translated by 5 units. You can just remove that. And now here's something that I have to fix. right? There's some issues that I have to fix with the game engine, and that's part of why I want to do this live coding. But let's see what's happening here. I think the problem is actually related to my animation manager. So let me just remove this for 1 second. Because I think that's the problem. Me Osaman, hey fly crack, ¿cómo estás? All right, so let me run this again one more time. Hopefully I don't have an issue now. Boom, let me open this. Open the script, come on. Now I'm gonna play this. Okay, let's see what happened here. See, these are the things that you don't expect to happen when you do doing live streams. But you know, it usually happens, and that's the cool thing about doing live streams. State. And I believe I'm missing one of these guys, so let me just boom. Let's see if that works. Okay, cool. Play a boom, so now I have it there. Again, right? You know, the whole thing is super simple. You know, the whole point of adding a scripting language is that you don't have to deal with all the whole compiling time. That's that happens when you are dealing with C++. And that was one of the reasons why I decided to add a scripting language, because my game engine was taking a long time whenever I wanted to change some simple settings, and I was getting tired of that. So now here you just do this. Now I need to fix that. Why is that happening again? Visibility map. Let's see. This was not happening, my friends. All right. Here's where I create my player. I wonder where am I missing things. All right. $41. Let me just put everything back how it was. I think I messed something up. Okay, that's it. Was it? Okay. Let me see if that actually works. 41.3. The circulation. What happened? Identifier A not found. That's what it is. Basically, this was supposed to be global. All right, so now that should fix it. But let me stop it, because I wonder if something's getting corrupted when I do something like that. So let's see. Okay, I want to load the script again. Boom. Okay. If I play this, it should show up. But now if I remove this, I shouldn't see a problem. So when I click on edit, I basically am removing all of the models that I have in my scene graph. I remove them so I can start anew. But I don't know. Oh, there you go. I wonder what was corrupting it. All right. So again, now if I comment this out and I come over here, load script, and I do play again, they should show up. I can should remove them. Oh yeah. Now the other thing that I wanted to show you is the fact that um, you know I have already done that whole binding for the models, for the animations, for the dynamics actions, basically allowing the players to collide and do kinetics. So actually, let me show you the whole kinetics. I'm going to translate the player to 5 up, and then I'm going to enable the kinetics behavior, and I'm going to enable the kinetic collision behavior. So what's going to happen is that the player now is going to be able to collide with the field. Here I have also enabled that collision behavior for the field. So what you're going to see is that you're going to collide. And then what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to press some keys on my keyboard so you can see actually some animations being played. All right, so let me see if everything has been saved. Boom, nice. Okay, so let me load this. And now you should see the player, bouncing up and down. Now, this is the cool thing of why you may want to add, a scripting language to your game engine, because it allows you to code faster. Now, the downside with this is that there's no debugger, right? So as a game engine developer, you need to make sure to add to check if the parameters provided by the user are correct, because you don't want the game engine to crash as the user is developing their games. And also you want to provide as much detail as possible so that the user knows what's happening. And most of the details that you will see are happening here in the output. So now what I'm going to do, let me actually get closer to the player. I'm going to press a key S, and you're going to see that the player starts to animate. This is just a bunch of tests. If I play if I press the key W, you're going to see that he starts to run. But again, right, you can see how the collision is now enabled, the kinetics behaviors enabled. Basically, the physics engine is able to to act upon the player. The animation system has also been bound between the gravity scripting language and the game engine. So essentially, what's going to happen and what I want to happen is that I want the player or the game developer to focus, like to code their games using Gravity, the scripting language, and not to worry about anything related to the game engine, which is done with C++. And so that's my goal, and that's what I want to work on. Now to do that, obviously, I'm gonna need to do a lot more binding with the I still need more components to bind. For example, the AI steering behavior is something that I want to bind as well. So the other thing that I did, and I don't think I can show you right now until I add another. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna actually bind one more method that will allow me to do hot reload shading on the object. I basically needed to change the pipeline during runtime. So let me do that so you can see how easy it is to actually use Gravity and how you can embed it in your game engine. So let's see if we can actually do that. Let me actually stop the engine so we can work on that. All right. So Now again, I'm barely doing this whole scripting system, so it's not, you know, it's not stable yet. Number one, I couldn't find articles online that would actually teach me how to implement a scripting system for my game engine. It's something that, you know, kind of sucked because I didn't really know what to do, how to implement it. So I'm learning as I go. And I'm also trying to, you know, bind Gravity into with my game engine. Luckily, the author of Gravity has been very helpful. Else I wouldn't have been able to do this. And for the fact, I'm gonna be honest, I kind of hated Lua. Not Lua like the language precisely, right? But the whole C++ binding that you have to do. I hated the fact that the arrays don't start at index 0, but at 1. That was confusing. Like, I don't know why they would do that. All right, so let me go to my model. And what I want to do is I basically want to bind this function right here called, let me see if I can find it. Should be here, set pipeline. Okay, if it's not here, then where, let's see. This one, this is the one that I want to bind. Set pipeline, and that will allow me to set the pipeline for my object. All right, and that's going to take a string. All right, so let's do that. So what you need to do, basically, I have this class called U4Descript bind model. This acts as the middleman between Gravity and my game engine. This is what basically, you know, binds everything. And I'm gonna copy this method. This is how basically how your method needs to look like. So model set pipeline. That's it. That's how I'm gonna call it. So let me just do this. Let me remove these other things. Boom. All right. So let me go over here. All right. Pam pam. All right, so the first thing that we need to do is we need to get the instance of the object that is calling the set pipeline, right? And how you do that is basically you need to use this function, this line of code right here. Again, most of the things that you have to do is just copy and paste. You do have to do some checks, but mainly, again, the whole logic is so nicely set out for you that you know, you shouldn't have any problems doing this. So my first instance is my model, because what I want to do is going to be something like this. For example, you know, let's say A is my player, right? So what I really want to do is inside init model, which is here, what I want to do, I want to say, do something like this, self set pipeline, and then give the name of my pipeline. And I think I'm gonna call it test pipeline. And that's going to allow me to change the pipeline. So it's gonna look something like this. So this is my first instance that I'm checking right here with value 0. Now I need to check or get this argument right here. So it has to be a string. So how do we do that? Now I already did that in the past, so I'm just gonna come and look for it again. And it should be in load model. Yes, there you go. So here we get a string, then we get the name, and then we get value 1. So this will give me basically my name for the string. Okay, cool. So let me copy this. All right. So we have that. Now, what do we need to do after that? We need to get my X data, which is basically I need to cast my instance, right? Which whatever I'm getting here as a U4D model. And once I have that, I'm gonna check if my model is not null before I do my operations. So I'm gonna do something like this. Then I'm gonna just do a quick check. If model is not equals to null pointer, then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say model. Then I'm gonna call the function set pipeline, right? Which is basically the function in my game engine, the method. And now I need to get the name of the whatever argument that is. Now for this, you need to pass s right there, like that. Now, I need to double check here with the author of gravity, but because I don't really know what do we need to, how do we return here? I have seen some examples where you can just return like no value, but I need to double check. But for now, until I check with him, I'm gonna just return true here. I don't know how this is affected by gravity. Okay, so we have model set pipeline. Okay, so now this is my method. Now I need to bind it with my, with gravity. So let me just copy this right here. And I'm gonna, so this section right here, this argument is basically the function, the method name that you want, that you are using for your API. In this case, I'm gonna use set pipeline. I'm basically making sure that the Gravity API is very simple to my game engine. Well, let me restate that. I just want to make sure that the API between my game engine and the script, and when you're scripting, is the same API. I'm not changing anything. So that way, if you ever want to develop your game using just C++, you can do so. Or if you want to use a scripting language, you can also do so, but the API will remain the same. So I think that's quite kind of cool. So this one should be model set pipeline. Cool. So now it's all linked up. All right. So let's test this now. Before I do that, let me make sure which pipeline am I sending over here, or if I'm ever sending. Okay, I'm going to get this one and I'm going to put it over here, and it's going to be called test pipeline. All right, so let me just add this here. So basically when the whole game starts, right, I call the scene first. In that scene, I'm basically loading all of my resources. And what I'm doing right now, just as a test, is I'm just, loading my pipeline for the new pipeline that I want, all right? So let's see. Everything seems to be okay. All right, let's see if this works. See, this is what you want to avoid, right? When you're developing your own game, you don't want to waste time during the building and the compilation of the game. It takes too much time, so that's where you see something as a scripting language is quite nice. All right, so ideally, right, you know how I told you that in my scene load up, I'm actually loading up all of my resources. So these are my resources, right, that I have, right? Now, in that same initialization, I also created my new pipeline, which is called test pipeline, if you remember, right? So now what's going to happen is that when I load this, nothing's going to happen in the beginning until I actually do my load shader. Cool. So we have that, right? So now I'm going to go to my scene graph. Actually, hold on. Let me put back my player back to its initial position. All right. Boom. So now good. All right. Now what's going to happen is this. All right. I'm going to select my player, which is this guy, and I'm going to do I want to do my own shader. I want to add my own shader. So here's my shader, right? And my shader is basically this one right here. All right. Okay, let me, I think it was Control Shift L. Yeah, okay, yeah. So that way I can do the highlighting. Okay, so this is basically the file that I have that will do the hard loading. All right, so let's see if that worked. Because if it doesn't work, it means I forgot to do something and we need to change it. All right, yeah, that's right. I needed to change something for that. This is part of the random of MGUI. So let me come back over here. All right, so this is the my editor pass. I have different passes in my game engine, and I have one specific pass for MGUI. Now, MGUI is a little bit, it's a really cool tool, but this whole static variable sometimes drives me insane. So let's see. Hold on, let me just do that. Let's see. My shader. Okay, my open shader is not coming up. My load shader is not coming. Hey Jay, how are you? How's it going, dude? All right, shaders files found. Let's see. Okay, so I know that my shaders file was found. Okay, let me put this up here. All right, let me bring up the editor again. So open shader. Oh, great. Let me stop this. Okay, I think I remember what happened the other day. A player, open hat shader, that's the one, and it's never coming to here. Why would that be? Okay, let me just do this. I need to spend some time out figuring this editor. Cause sometimes some of my options do not show up. Alright, open script, boom. Load script, play it. Now that shows up. Now player, open the shader. There you go. So now I'm gonna do reloading on this particular shader that I have. So basically now when I play this, something should show up, and it says that my render pipeline descriptor is null. All right. Okay. Good. So that tells me fragment. Oh, okay. Hold on. Test pipeline. Fragment test pipeline. That's the same one. So let me see. Test pipeline. So basically, what I'm trying to, since I bound a new function called the test pipeline, I'm making sure that it now works before I move on. So test pipeline, that's the name of my pipeline, which is this one. Why don't we call it first? Let me double check that that is actually being called properly. That's something I think it should do, especially from the error that I got. It seems to me that I'm probably not even calling the pipeline. All right, so let me put a breakpoint here. Okay, so now when I play it, I should go to breakpoint here. Good. My name, let me see. Test pipeline. All right. So that's the name of my pipeline. Let's make sure everything is good here. Get it here. Oh, you know what? Okay. It's not gonna happen like that, guys. Yeah. So the problem is this. Before I actually am able to set a new pipeline to a model, that has to happen way before I send all of the data to the GPU, right? Now, since I wanted to make it this easy for users of my game engine, whenever they're using scripting language, I kind of, remove some of the complexity. But by doing that, I also realized that I'm not, killing this actually. Okay. See, the whole set pipeline needs to happen before I send the data to my rendering. to my GPU. So it needs to happen right here. The reason why I'm doing this is because I don't want users to remember that every time they want to do a load model, they have to add it to the scene graph and do the load rendering information. Again, but by doing that, by trying to make something simple for the user, I'm actually making this, messed up. What happens if I actually send, hold on. What happens if I actually send this before? Let me put it here. Okay, let me do that. That may actually work. Okay, so I expect to come here. It's gonna be cold. It's gonna get cold, so. Alright. Let's see. Play it. Okay. Now when I play this and I use this, yeah, I'm not getting the same pipeline because, so basically this error is telling me that my vertex functions are completely different. They're not matching. The vertex function that is being used by the model at this point, right, which is the default vertex function that I have, which is basically this one, fragment model shader and vertex model shader, right? And so, and what I'm trying to call, I'm trying basically to call this function on the model pipeline, and it's saying, you know what, I don't recognize these functions. You changed them, but I don't know what they are. So it is saying vertex function must not be nil or no pointer. So again, by me trying to make this simple, actually, made it hard on myself. Okay, well, that's something good to know. So I have to fix that. Good. Right. That kind of sucks because I kind of like that. Actually, just so that you could see how it works, let me see if this actually works. I have it here. See here, I'm actually setting the pipeline before calling the rendering function, or sending the data to the GPU basically. Let's see if this works actually. Because I did like the whole, reload shading from my editor. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to load this player 0, boom. And let me actually load my the field as well. Boom, all right. Now they will show up here. Let's see. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, same thing. I need to look into this. Or let's see. want to do something crazy right now. Just to double check that everything works. So right now when we load the scene, we should see that my model actually being rendered. Oh, nothing shows up. I guess it's not working. Oh well, I don't want to spend so much time on this. All right, let's see. So edit world, edit logic. All right. Okay, let me just test one more thing and that's it, I guess. And let me remove this because obviously the pipeline is not working here. So this should not even matter anymore. All right. Okay, good. Again, that's animations, that's that. So basically what I have as of now, I have bound my vector 3n, which is, vectors for 3 dimensions, my logger, which is basically all of that information that you see here on the editor, this information. My camera, meaning that I can actually change the whole view. So actually, let me show you. I have here for the camera, and I can easily change the camera to wherever I want it to be. So our camera, for example, here for the camera, and I can move down my camera. So let's say I want to translate the camera by, let's make it 5 units up. So if I do that and remove that, I'll load my, now we should see the camera, show way up. So here you see, I move my camera up. The other thing that I did with the model, this one I need to work on this, how I'm gonna change the whole pipeline. One thing that I can do is actually pass 2 arguments here. Whenever you are doing that, whenever you call load model, what I can do here, I can actually, aside from passing the name of the character, I can pass the name of my pipeline. So what's going to happen here, self-load model n, what I can do, if there is one more argument here, which could be, the name of my pipeline, test pipeline, right? That would force, what I can do then is that I can actually, add it here. Actually can work. I'm actually been quite nice to do. All right, let me do that. Let's do it just for the heck of it. Okay, let's do this. Pipeline name to, now what I'm gonna do here is if pipeline name is not equal to null pointer, I'm gonna do that model set pipeline, then pipeline name s. All right, let's see if that works. I hope it does. And if this doesn't work, then I think that the problem may be something else with my actually reloading that I'm doing. Okay, so I want to do that. Load script, play. Haha, you know what happened? The other field didn't show up because it doesn't know how to render itself, but that's okay. Let me remove this and load this again, play, boom. All right, now let me do this again. Okay, so vertex had reload. Okay, the problem is somewhere else then. The problem is that I am not reloading my thing. Okay. Oh look, this file's been empty. It's empty. Huh. Okay, I remember the problem that I was having. The problem was that I need to figure out, how to have a different instance of this file dialog. I actually created a GitHub issue on this because I did notice that this was a problem. Yes, okay. Uh-huh. Okay, cool. I need to look more into that. And I think actually, so let me just remove this. Let me go to, because I did notice that he talked about having different instances. So this is a singleton pattern, single dialog. If you only need one to display one file dialog at a time using GUI singleton pattern to avoid this group. Okay, got it. If you needed to have multiple file dialogs open at once, declare each dialog explicitly. Okay. Okay, so that helps. All right, so let me do this for gravity, because again, what I'm doing here is that I'm basically using the same instance for both for my gravity script and for my shader, and I did realize that that was causing an issue. Okay, so what I need to do is basically um, use different instances for both of this. Okay, so let me come over here. Gravity file dialog. And then let's call this hat reload file dialog. All right. So hold on. Okay, that's how you call it. So let's test this. How about I have any other instance anywhere else? Okay, let's test this. All right, so let's see if this works. Okay, it seems that it is working. Okay, boom. All right. Okay, so now let me test out the other one. The other one's gonna be hat reload file dialog. All right. Okay, so this one, boom, bam. Okay, see if the file is found. We do this. All right. So let's see if this actually fixes the problem. All right, let me just bring up this guy. I'm gonna load them up. Player. Okay, hopefully, why does this one doesn't show up? Hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. Something weird with my, let's see. Looking for shader. Okay, so that's true. Let's choose the dialog. Okay, let me see if I actually even hit here. Hey man, how are you, dude? Actually, I added an editor. You know, as you can see, I'm GUI. I'm playing with that. I also added a scripting language called Gravity, which is what you actually get to see here. So I'm actually fixing an issue that I have with my hot reloaded shader right now, and I'm trying to understand, you know, why is that not working. How you been, dude? All right, so I'm calling here the my Gravity, the scripting language called Gravity. So okay, load the script. Then I'll play this. Okay, let me go back to this. Oh man, doing good, man. A little bit, you know, tired from work and sleep deprived. So, but I'm doing good. Are you still doing YouTube videos? Because I haven't seen any videos from you. Okay, so now that loaded up. Now player. Now let me see if I hit my. I'm not hitting anywhere here. open shader, should come here, right? Now that's true. I should come here. Now action if okay. Hold on, is it complaining because I am not clicking OK? All right, stop this again. Boom, boom, boom. That is so messed up. What am I doing wrong here? I'm basically doing the same thing that I'm doing for this button right here. I'm doing it here. I'm gonna make sure to use a different instance. But again, it's weird. Looking for a script, gravity, it's okay. Looking for a shader. All right, I guess I'm gonna have to fix that. All right, and the other thing that I noticed is that because gravity is not detecting my second parameter, it is complaining. So let me remove that and let me just put it back how it was. I may have to come up with a different solution for the pipeline. But let me just remove this so that way it goes back to how it was. All right, boom. Stop this. So now when I load this, I actually should see the different, the field, the player and the model and everything else. Okay, boom, boom, boom. See, this is exactly what I'm doing for my hat reloading, but for some reason it doesn't work. All right, play, boom, now I got that. Right now, check this out. I'm going to add more resources that I have here. And I can actually show you the resources that I have loaded. What I'm going to do, I'm actually going to load, using the gravity scripting language, I'm going to load these different assets so you can actually see the whole stadium. All right. So the way how I'm going to do that, I'm actually just going to call them var bleacher 0 and u for the model. All right. And then I'm going to call bleacher 0 load model, and then the name is going to be bleacher 0. Now I need to look more into gravity if I'm able to concatenate strings. I should be able to do that with no problem, but I need to look into their user manual to do that. Again, I'm also learning this new language. It's it's really cool, but it's new, so I'm not an expert whatsoever at it. However, as you can see, it's very simple. Within a couple of days, I was able to start using it. All right, this is good. All right, boom. So now everything is saved here. One. All right, so let me load the script. And now we should see, boom, the stadiums. And I'm missing one more, which would be, I think it's 0 or 1 or 2, I don't know. Boom, boom, boom. Now, let me load the script. And now if I play this, you should see the whole stadium. I mean, I hope. And nope, it's not gonna show. This is the cool part of working on your game engine. Sometimes you think it's gonna work, and then something happens and it breaks. And you know, but that's why we do this, right? Let's see. Oh, there you go. See, this is the thing that I need to, that whenever you use a scripting language, you need to keep in mind that there's no debugger, and you have to be very careful. But basically, the problem was that I was calling the load model again on my first on this instance, where it should have been on that one, and that was causing the problem. Actually, gravity, Jesse, is very related to very similar to Swift. So if you know Swift, you can pick up gravity right away. It basically has the same syntax. So and that is one of the reasons why I decided to use this language instead of Lua. Aside from the fact that I hated the whole binding, I'm sharing with you the link. Is that since my game engine is for mainly for Apple devices, I figure that Apple users are very acquainted with Swift. So if they can use a language very similar to Swift to do game development, people will like that. So okay, so boom. Okay, so now I do that and I'm gonna load it, and boom, there you go. So we have everything there. And again, if you look at the scene graph, you will see everything here that you have, right? Again, I added like the simple components that you may expect with with an editor. But aside from that, right, I can also change the state of my player, and depending on the state of my player, I can change the animations. So for example, right now I'm gonna press on the key W, and you should see it running. If I press the key S, you see it kicking, right? And I did all of that here with gravity. Again, I can even translate this again in case you didn't get to see this earlier. But I can now enable any kinetic action on the model. So I'm going to enable kinetic, and I'm going to allow it to collide with the field, right? So let me remove this. See, something's going on now that I need to fix. All right, never mind. I'll fix that later. But let me show you though. All right, so let me bring up the script. All right, so now if I play this, you should see the player, up and down, jumping, basically colliding. Let me just go back. So I still have to do a lot more work on the whole binding. There's a lot more components that I need to bind. But basically right now I have the animations and I have the dynamic components. Dynamics being kinetics and collision detection. So that works. So it's looking good. I really like the whole binding. And again, binding is so simple, like very simple to do. There's no complex stuff that you have to do, such as when you use Lua to bind your C++ application. So this is looking good. So we'll see how it goes. Now the only problem with gravity, it's not a problem per se, but something that you need to keep in mind is that it's a new language and that documentation is for binding to a game engine is not there yet. However, the author of Gravity has been very helpful, and he has been helping me a lot understanding how to bind it. So I've been working, talking to him, constantly, and he has helped me a lot. But I'm hoping that he fixes some other issues that I found with Gravity with the bindings, and I'm also hoping to bind some of the steering systems with Gravity, so that way you can use some AI steering behaviors. And aside from that, I need to fix several issues. For example, this, and I think this happened. I don't know why that happened. But I need to look into this. Now this is the cool part, right? About I guess development, right? In my opinion, is I kind of not excited, but I kind of get very interested whenever I encounter a bug. I want to find the reason why, what's the problem, why is it not working. So that's why I actually, enjoy doing this. It's just part of me. Um, all right, guys, it's almost 12. Thank you, Jessica, for joining. You know, hopefully I get to see, a YouTube video from you soon. I haven't seen one, so unless if I missed it, I don't know. All right, guys, thank you so much. I'm going to, end the stream, and I guess I'll see you next time. Thank you for joining, guys.